Good evening, good evening, and welcome to Queen's Table. We have a very special guest again this evening. Welcome, Jessica. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm good, thank you.
Have you had a good week?
It's been okay. It was my birthday last week, so I had a very busy week, and now I'm sort of recuperating.
Oh, happy birthday from me and all the Pageantland team. Did you have a
Oh,
good
thank you.
birthday?
It was good, yes. 30
Oh,
next year, so not far off that number.
it's a big one next year. I'll tell you what, I wish I was still on that number. So, thank you for coming on. Can you start off telling me a little bit about the Miss Royal pageant system and why you chose that particular system?
So for me, you probably are aware I did Galaxy and I met you at Galaxy. That was my first ever pageant. That's where I got the pageant bug. For me, though, because I was very new, I wanted to first start at a national pageant. So I did Crown and Glory after. And then once I did Crown and Glory, I was like, right, I am now ready to do another international pageant. I feel I'm ready. And I found Royal. I felt like it was a family orientated pageant. So it was very sisterhood. There's a lot of sisterhood involved. I didn't feel like it was a competition more so. I actually felt like it was friendships involved. Sorry, my earphone's falling out. Oh, it's just popped out. 1 second, sorry. It's back in. So it felt like a family, which is what I wanted to be involved in. I am very competitive, but I didn't want that side in pageantry. I wanted the whole sisterhood, which I feel Royal gives.
Oh, that's lovely. So, it sounds like a really nice system, and the sisterhood is so important, and it really does make the pageant, doesn't it? It's a really important part of that. So, tell me, you're an invisible illness and disability advocate. Can you tell me about this?
Yes, so I'll try and not go into too much detail because I could probably talk for England about it.
That's
So for
fine.
me, back in 2017, my life completely changed. So I was 25 years old. I had a successful career in banking. I was buying a house. I was planning my wedding, but then everything seemed to have turned around and my health started to deteriorate. At that point, I waited for diagnosis, but I ended up becoming really unwell to the point I was in hospital fighting for my life. And ever since that, I realised what people go through when they've got an invisible illness. So I would receive discrimination for using the disabled toilets, which I had every right to use because I had inflammatory bowel disease at the time. So I was having constant toilet visits. So things that people couldn't see, where I was having accidents trying to go to the toilet and I didn't make it. I had bleeding, I had abdominal pain. And then in July 2017, I had a stoma bag. So it was an emergency surgery where my colon was moved and my small intestine was pulled out of my stomach. And that's how I then collected my waste into a stoma bag. So these are all things that you obviously couldn't have seen from my outside appearance when I had clothing on. It was hidden, and that's where I got a lot of judgment because I looked like a normal 25-year-old, but underneath my hidden appearance, there was a bigger story behind that, which is why I've started to advocate for it because although we are 80% of the disability population, there is limited representation out there. It's normally wheelchairs that people think of or walking sticks.
Yes, definitely. So, why do you think people discriminate so much? Is it just because it is an invisible illness? Is it because people are uneducated, do you think?
Yes, so there's a lot of lack of education out there. It can make you angry at first. So at first I was quite angry because I did get people start arguments with me. I had people tut and the eye contact, so the pull in the faces. So at first I was uncomfortable going into disabled toilets and I used to sneak in to see if anyone was looking, which I shouldn't have done. I don't do that now. And I've realised it was a lack of education. So I decided that I couldn't be angry because it's not their fault that the education isn't out there, which is why I'm now trying to provide the education to others.
Yeah, you do. I've seen a lot of campaigns and things that you've done, and you are amazing at spreading awareness. What I did notice you did, which I just thought was incredible, was the hashtag We Are Good Enough photo shoots. Tell me a little bit about those.
So they started in February last year, prior to COVID. So they started, my first ever shoot happened in the February. I had around 9 ladies involved who all had invisible illnesses, and we wrote the words on ourselves that represented our illness. So for me, I had like diarrhea written on me. I had depression, because I suffer with mental health issues too. I had fatigue. So all these words that I suffer with, but you won't see from my appearance, it was a way to educate others on what I deal with and what the others deal with on a daily basis, but then also to accept our bodies, because as women, we have a lot of the media pointing out that cellulite isn't good enough, that you can't have scars, you have to be this slim figure because of all this photoshopping. There is limited representation of real bodies out there, and it is starting to evolve. Fingers crossed it gets better, but there is still a big room for improvement out there with brands. So this was a way for all those women that got involved to feel like they were good enough, because we don't have to be this slim size 8, have no cellulite, have no scars, because everybody is unique and everybody is beautiful in its own way.
That is so true, and it's such a really important discussion to have, really, because unfortunately in the media and things like that, everybody is surrounded, especially children, young people, well, everybody is surrounded by all these images that aren't actually sort of real, you know. And I think you all look absolutely incredible on that photo shoot, and it's just such a good campaign, such a good photo shoot to do. How many ladies did you have in total doing it?
I'm trying to think. So there was around 9 involved in the February one. I'm trying to think if I believe it was 9. I haven't even took the number on board, but I believe it was. And then because of COVID, obviously the future shoots were cancelled, but instead we did it all at home, and I created a calendar for 2021, and that raised £500 for charity.
Oh, that's incredible. Well done. So, could you tell me what charities you're raising the money for?
Yeah, so for me, I raise money for 10 different charities. I know that's a lot, but there are a lot of different illnesses that I want to try and support. So for me, the 3 main charities that I support is Good Hope Hospital, because without them, I wouldn't be here today, because they saved my life. Then there's Crohn's and Colitis UK and Colostomy UK. Those are IBD and also stoma charities. So without their support, I wouldn't have accepted my stoma bag, because I was suicidal for the first 6 months of having it. I couldn't accept the change to my body because I had a bag attached to my stomach. It also comes with a lot of challenges. So there's leaks and other things involved. So it was a big, massive change in my life. And without them, I wouldn't have overcome that big obstacle that I had, which is why I provide back to them. And then there's another 7 charities which support other invisible illnesses. So autism. So Autism UK, we've got fibromyalgia, and then there's some other charities too.
Oh, that's incredible. That's really supportive. And, you know, you have been through such a hard time, but you're such an inspiration. And the things you do and the awareness campaigns and everything that you do is just incredible. So don't you ever change there.
Thank you.
So could you tell me a little bit more about your platform?
Yeah, so for me, obviously, I am aware that there's no education out there, where there's limited education. So for me, I sat down and thought, how can I change this? So I'm going into disabled toilets and I'm having people judge me because I don't look like I've got a disability, but I have. So I thought visualization. So visualization, I think around, I can't remember the percentage of the population, but there's over 50% of the population that are visual learners. But there is no visual representation of invisible illnesses out there. So that's where I decided to create this image to represent different invisible illnesses out there. And that's then where my awareness projects evolved. So I had these images created by someone in Pageantland. And then from there onwards, we then started to bring out merchandise with local businesses, but also provide our net profits to charity. So it was a way to get the visual representation out there. And from that, I've been told that it's helped people in supermarkets because people are looking at this image and going, actually, there is more to a story there that's hidden. So I just think it's created that visual piece that people needed. And hopefully from there it will expand and there will be global awareness from it.
Yeah, no, oh, that's incredible. I really liked you do the little key rings as well, don't you? Is it little key rings? I've seen lots of them pop up on the internet. And I just think that it's a credible thing, and it's teaching people and it's spreading that awareness of invisible disabilities all the time. And I think it's good to educate people with everything to do with that. So tell me about the confidence that pageants have given you.
So for me, as a child, I was, like many people, I was bullied as a child all throughout my childhood. And I never felt good enough because of that. I always questioned, am I pretty enough? Even as a size 8, I was very athletic at the time. I would sneakily get onto the scales as a child and weigh myself and starve myself because I felt like I was fat. But I wasn't. It was just this bullying that caused me to have body dysmorphia. So from that, I really struggled with my confidence. I really struggled with feeling like I was worthy of self-love. And weirdly enough, my operation back in 2017, after that 6 months of that challenge of fighting my suicidal thoughts, I realised, our bodies are here for a different purpose. They're not here to look a certain way. Everyone looks different. So I would love to look like Nicole Scherzinger, but I'm never going to look like Nicole Scherzinger. We all have different bodies. So we have to learn to love the bodies that we have. And that is what I started to build up. So I did photo shoots to adapt my confidence. So I felt so uncomfortable doing my first photo shoot after my stoma surgery. But as soon as I pushed myself out that comfort zone, I felt on top of the world, completely on top of the world. And I thought, you know what? Ever since I was younger, I've looked at people in pageants and gone, I want to do that when I'm older, but I never felt like I was good enough. So I just pushed myself into the deep end. I searched for a Mrs. Pageant because I was due to be married at the time. And a galaxy popped up. I knew nothing about pageants at all, but I just applied for it. And I went, you know what? I'm going to take myself there and just take that challenge. If I like it, carry on. If I don't, then I've done it. I've achieved that one dream in my life.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's amazing. And it does build your confidence up, doesn't it? Because even like myself, I'm a curvy girl and my figure changed a lot when I had a baby. And it took a long time for me to accept that personally. But people don't sort of realise maybe that you might be feeling that way. But I certainly found for me as well that pageants gave me that extra confidence, just to be like, this is me and I love me for who I am. So that's really, really good. No, good for you.
As soon as you set foot on that stage, just the buzz, the feeling that you get with everyone cheering you on, it's hard to explain to someone that hasn't done it.
Yeah, definitely, isn't it? Because I must admit, when I did it as well, I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just sort of turned up, hello. But it's definitely, you get the pageant bug then, doesn't it? And that's it. So when is your final then this year?
It's the end of next month, so the 31st of July. It's getting so close. It doesn't feel real at the minute.
Oh, that really is close, isn't it? So have you got all your outfits ready and you're all sorted?
Yes, well, my outfits I got last year. So my evening I got in February last year, just after the last finals. I knew the dress that I wanted, so I straight away got it. I was like, I'm having that. So it's been in my wardrobe for a while. It was meant to go ahead in January, but it's been postponed to July because of the wonderful COVID. And then my fashion wear, with lockdown weight gain, I've gained a stone, so I do not fit into it. So I have now got a backup plan.
I feel you with that one, don't worry. I think a lot of people have put on weight in lockdown, me included. So, backup plans are always good. It doesn't matter, does it? As long as you've got your backup.
Yes, so it's already
how did you adapt? How did you adapt with appearances in lockdown?
So with appearances, thankfully Royal doesn't take into account appearances, but it's obviously good to get yourself out there and to help different charities, to volunteer for your community, which is something I love doing. But with COVID, the charities that I normally volunteer for, a lot of them weren't doing the virtual events, which is what I used to help out with. But I did a lot of online support for them. So I used to help memberships. So people that were a member, if they needed any support, I would help them. But then with my own projects, I had to adapt them. So I've created my own charity pageant for those with invisible illnesses. The first one was meant to go ahead the end of March, so just before the lockdown hit. And I had to cancel it, obviously, for the safety of others, with us, most of us being vulnerable, but we didn't know what was happening. And that has been cancelled, well, postponed 3 times now. It is due to go ahead on the 21st of October. So fingers crossed that that goes smoothly.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Because of those events being cancelled, I didn't want to just let those people down because they were excited to get involved. So instead, I did virtual events. So I did a raffle, I did a virtual warrior pageant, and I did a photo competition. So even through that, I still managed to provide money for charity. So that raised over £800 those 3 events.
Oh, well done.
It's just amazing. Social media, without social media, where would we be these days, honestly, especially during the pandemic?
I think that's definitely true. I mean, it's been amazing to watch everyone adapt in lockdown, and you've been flying, to be honest. And the online pageant that you did, I was lucky enough to judge as well. And the people in it, I literally was just, my heart melted, and it was just so many amazing contestants in that one. And what a lovely thing to do, wasn't it, as well? It was just such a beautiful pageant, and I can't wait to see a live one. So where will the one in October be taking place?
So it's taking place in Burntwood in Staffordshire. I'm not quite sure what area you're from, but it's sort of it's Midlands based, which is quite bizarre for pageants because weirdly, although we're in the West Midlands, not many pageants happen in this area. It's more northwest. So it will be exciting to have one here.
I think I might have to pop that in my calendar. I think I might have to pop on down to that one and support that, because that'd be a lovely one to see without a doubt. So where do you think you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh, that's a good one. So we all know now that life is very unpredictable. We never imagined this pandemic, did we, to last this long?
Definitely not.
So it is unpredictable, but hopes and dreams, we can always dream, and hopefully they get achieved. So for me personally, I would love to be an international queen for Royal. I would love to win the crown this year. Fingers crossed. It's obviously not so much about the winning, it's about the event as well, so having fun. But I would love to win that crown and represent my country and those with invisible illnesses too. So just to show that they don't define us and we can still do things. So I'd love to go international, compete international, and win an international crown, but also carry on supporting the system because it's something I've found my confidence in. I would stay in pageants forever, I believe. Maybe when I'm a 100-year-old granny, I'm still going to be in pageants, maybe, if I last that long.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I agree with you on that one. It's once you got the bug, that's it, isn't it? So, and there's no age limit, so why not carry it on, isn't it? It's got to be done.
Definitely. Even if it's just helping out and judging, you're still involved in the buzz.
Definitely. Oh, well, it's been so lovely to speak to you this evening. And from myself and from everybody in Pageantland, we wish you the best of luck next month. And although I won't be actually there, I will watch it virtually and I will be cheering you on without a doubt. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time.
So thanks to Jessica. So next week on Queen's Table, we've got the lovely Sherry Harvey, who is now Miss Atlantic UK. So we'll be looking forward to speaking to Sherry next week. As always, if you want to do a blog or anything like that, contestants, finalists and queens, if you want to be featured on the Pageantland blog, please visit www.pageantland.online/blog. So thank you for joining us this evening. Oh, another thing, if you want to join the team, we've actually got a space come up. So again, go onto the Pageantland site or contact any of us on the team. There's this position to join us. Just contact any of us and there's a little form to fill in. And if you're interested in applying, let us know.